are suffering through his inflation and high interest rates. For many families, the best hope for a summer vacation will be a modest road trip. Parents will sketch out a budget based on meals and hotels, and a big expense will be fuel. The GST, excise tax, and carbon tax have helped push fuel prices to near record levels, with many families unable to afford a vacation at all. Conservatives have proposed taking the tax off of gas and diesel for the summer, saving Canadians 35 cents a litre. Will the Prime Minister vote for our motion, or will he force more Canadians to stay home this summer?
Is that all they can talk about is this summer break from carbon tax?
Mr. Speaker, this is a prime cut of conservative
Hey, it's disco, Steve.
And I know what I'm talking about. My dad was a butcher, Mr. Speaker. The savings that the Conservative Party of Canada claims for Albertans is based on people traveling 37,000 kilometers during their holidays, Mr. Speaker. 37,000 kilometers. You can go from the North Pole to the South Pole, and you would have kilometers left to achieve the savings that they claim, Mr. Speaker.
What the hell is this moron talking about? See, cue ball's back in his seat next to him. Mr. Corruption.
That's just not true, Mr. Speaker. And everybody knows that the carbon tax costs more than the rebate. That is why the Prime Minister was humiliated into granting a carve-out for just some people in some parts of the country. And that's all we're asking for today, a carve-out on federal taxes on fuel and diesel for the summer. For the average family in Ontario, that would mean almost $600 in savings. Now, to the Prime Minister and his wealthy friends, that might not seem like a lot of money, but to struggling Canadians, that could make the difference to be able to say yes to the kids when they ask for some summertime fun. So will the Prime Minister have an ounce of compassion and help more Canadian families afford a vacation?
The terrible truth is $600 won't buy you 3 nights in a hotel these days.
Mr. Speaker, I know
it is outrageous.
of the Conservative Party of Canada. Let me walk them through it. By their math.
Look at cue ball laughing away, you corrupt Boissonneau.
293 liters of gasoline over a 3-month period, Mr. Speaker.
Get rid of them both.
An average of 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers.
What the hell is he talking about?
37,000 kilometers. You would have to drive for 10 consecutive days, non-stop, Mr. Speaker. If you had 2 weeks vacation, you would have 2 days left, or maybe 3, to enjoy your vacation.
Is that what this incompetent minister's incompetent staff were working on for the past 2 days?
If I could respectfully challenge you, Mr. Giroux, just with hindsight, I take the point that you're making, but now, you know, now one side has the ability to say it's almost like you were hiding this and call into question the veracity of the original numbers you put forth.
Well, again, as I said, based on people's knowledge of this, those inside government who know the output-based pricing regime and the federal carbon pricing system, as well as outside stakeholders, people are generally of the view that this will not have a material impact on the numbers, and certainly not on the overall conclusion that when you impose a carbon tax or a carbon pricing regime on an economy that is as dependent on fossil fuels as Canada is, it's bound to have negative economic impacts.
Okay, I'll leave it on that note. Mr. Giroux, appreciate your time as always.
He basically just said the carbon tax is not good for
Jacking up the carbon tax 23% is going to somehow magically fix forest fires and reduce the cost of groceries like that Edith can't afford. And they think we're gullible and incompetent like the NDP, that we'd blindly support policies that made 2 million Canadians go into a food bank in a single month, and that made 1 in 4 Canadians skip meals. Why don't they do everyone a favor? Give Canadians a break and put them out and finally end their misery. Call a carbon tax election so common sense conservatives can scrap the carbon tax scam and Canadians can kick this costly carbon tax coalition to the curb.
Don't repeat the 37,000 kilometer lesson again. This guy is just so out to lunch, it's incredible.
Secretary to the Minister of Housing Infrastructure.
On Monday, this House will have the opportunity to vote on a common sense motion to save Canadians 35 cents per litre on gas. Will the Prime Minister vote with us, the common sense Conservatives, so that Canadians can afford a simple vacation, or will he force them to stay home?
Are we going to hear about why the national park? Oh, yeah.
You can take a summer fun time vacation where you're locked in a car for 10 consecutive days, nonstop with no bathroom breaks, and the Conservatives have a plan for you to have that summertime fun. And the cost? Give up the future of the planet. Right? Don't worry, kids, about climate change. Don't worry about taking action on the planet. Enjoy your 10 hours in the car and let the planet burn.
I am so sick of listening to them. I tell you. Thank you for watching this episode of Stand on Guard and being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right channel. If you've watched this episode to this point, you've watched it all. And that's really important for a small station like this. We always say subscribe, hit the bell, be a part of the KRAYDEN resistance. Resolve to resist. That's what we're doing. And if you become a subscriber, if you're a supporter of this station or a member through Substack, through YouTube, and now you can be a local as well, that's so important to us because I couldn't do this without you. I made a decision to become an independent journalist about a year ago because I wanted to bring all of my experience in the military, in journalism, to you. I don't promise anything I can't deliver. I don't offer clickbait. I offer truth. The truth is out there, and it's my job to bring that truth to light and to you. Thanks for being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right resistance, and we'll see you again soon.
So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need a political change, but we also need to resolve to resist.